Hey everybody, my name's Davin. I have solar dehydrator plans on Permies.com. That's PERMIES.com and then /DAVIN. Um, the exact thing is down scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Welcome to my house. I do live streams these days. I got into some cryptocurrency, specifically richardhart.com. And so I do live streams now, and that's why I have this set up. But what we're going to do today is cover solar dehydrators because I've done some plans for them and I answer questions about them. And I thought what we would do, since I have the energy to do this, is review a few videos that I came across recently about solar dehydrators. And they're the downdraft kind. So they capture solar array heat. It rises to the top of a cabinet, and then it falls in that cabinet, and then it goes out the back wall. And so these are multiple versions of the same thing. So let's start out with one that I came across earlier today, and I know I've seen this before. And I've gotten better at streaming, so I think you'll be able to have some audio and full screen. Thanks to everyone who created these videos that I'm then using for my review.
Okay, babe. Tell us about it.
Are the numbers
I hope the sound's good.
Yes, they are.
All right. This is a completed project. This was a beer cooler, but it's completed except for all the trays. I need to buy 11 of these.
It is not shaking in the wind. It just looks like it is. I'm not sure why. So notice over here on the right side, that is the sun collector, the solar collector. And then he's reusing what was a refrigerator of some sort. The heat rises through, the heat rises underneath glass over here, or plastic, whatever it is that he's using. And so we'll be talking about what are the appropriate materials to use. Rises, accumulates here at the top of this, what I'm calling a cabinet. It will sink through these food trays and then exit out the back window. See how this guy is like, yeah, I'm a badass. It's because he has a downdraft solar dehydrator. Only a few people understand this technology right now, and I'm helping you understand it and getting it out to the public.
For
check out my plans.
2x4
Hermes.com /Davin.
I cut them down. I get 3 trays out of each one. Side.
That sliding door is pretty cool.
Dehydrator, the vent.
So the air comes through the bottom there.
It comes through the vent. Goes up into the top.
You see where that is? We can actually barely see that opening there. So he cut a hole in the middle of a board. He hollowed out the middle of the board.
Top of the dehydrator.
Rises up.
Picks up moisture.
Yep.
It will sink.
Yep. Plus the new air pushed in there pushes it down.
This chimney.
That's not really a vent. It just looks like one.
About a foot, actually 2 feet above where it goes in.
So down here at the bottom of the wall, there is a opening, and so the back wall works like a chimney, and it rises through the back wall. And some people argue that there should be another boosting system up at the top,
and it is airtight
right before it exits.
It's all used materials except
this area right here should be boosted with more transparent. And then you're also going to need some sort of a roof.
The freezer itself, that was used,
I think he's got some sort of a roof up there.
For that on Craigslist.
He's starting to talk about the pricing. Notice how he used siding. That was pretty interesting. All right, so this is not a downdraft. This has it to where things are heated, and then they just rise up through this tower cabinet and then exit with the roof over the top, right? This is pretty simple. It's got wheels.
Which has been designed at Appalachian State University.
Well, Appalachian State could have done better. And
And
congratulations, freshmen, for building such a
getting some more information.
nimble.
From three greening or
Sure.
put a like I live.
All right, let's. I actually haven't gone through
74 degrees. In
all of
August,
this.
65 degrees. In September, 53 degrees.
So they're talking about sun placement and how much heat you can
Make
get.
sure you don't go too deep or you go right through the plywood on the other side.
Doesn't look like any students are working on it. I wonder what he uses to be the black surface. What is this? Does that generate heat? So the air is going to come in here, needs to hit this box and heat up. So you'll have clear portions of this box, transparent, translucent.
Then you want to get a nice airtight seal.
Oh, I see. Okay. So he's making it to where no matter what, the air has to flow through this. So it starts on top of it and it has to go through it, below it, in order to get up. That's interesting. Okay, so it's translucent. It's not transparent. Plastic piece. Here's a image of the racks, I guess.
That will be the
That's pretty interesting.
adhesive backing, and you put it all
Some
around
sort
the
of
perimeter.
What is this? Oh, okay. So you're going to slide it left or right in order to open up a gap to breathe more, because you don't breathe through the ridge vent. Instead, you breathe underneath this eave here. He's talking about airtight. Totally. You got to have airtight. Whenever you're making your stuff, you need to have some caulking. Just go ahead and do it in the beginning so that you won't have to take it apart or do it afterwards. Do it at the seams.
And found its
All right, I want to know what
this stuff
this material is.
Yeah, this goes.
Oh, looky there. It's expanded wire mesh with spray paint on top. Can you tell us what kind of spray paint? The last guy I saw cut this mesh stuff. He put a piece of tape on top of it. And so he just cut to the side of the tape instead of trying to draw chalk over the top of it.
69 inches long. I've got some high temperature Rust-Oleum.
Okay, high temperature Rust-Oleum.
Flat black paint.
Paint out of a can.
I'm not going to paint them all together.
Do you want the air off of the exhaust of this stuff being heated to then pass through your food? Do you want that? It's a big question, right? Really quickly, I'm going to drop a link to this live stream in a group that I'm a part of with my crypto buddies. To this live stream.
All right, now I'm going to flip over all 6 pieces.
Copy URL.
Trying to paint them all together. And I'll do it again on the other side.
Gosh darn it. Hide. Okay. When you stream, things pop up in places that you're just like, that's not convenient.
Up at the top and down at the bottom, I'm trying to make sure that seal it kind of so that no hot air can bypass the screen. It has to go through the screen. So sort of bent it up at the top and fastened it with a couple of screws right along the top strut that was installed.
My attention's back
earlier.
on this stream.
You know, I put a couple of screws in just to kind of support the
cool.
the
That's
first
nice.
2 layers, just on the side, and then on the bottom.
What will not happen very well is this will not work very well in a moisture environment. So it will favor hotter environments, drier environments. The downdraft is much better than this design. So let's go check out another one.
Hello, welcome to the Sanford Edible Garden Trail. This video is all about a downdraft, solar-powered dehydrator.
Downdraft, solar-powered dehydrator. Yep. So you can tell with this thumbs up, that means that she had been practicing it, because it is not easy to understand this at first. You have to have patience.
Got it.
And David, thank you for having us on your property.
Like I said,
I love
there
it.
is a
What is it?
Well,
push
first of
and a
all,
pull.
It's made out of just recycled materials. This is sliding doors off an old shower screen.
Okay, so it's a shower screen. It doesn't have any tint to it, sun tint that would normally happen with a piece that was ready to be a window for whatever purpose. And then also notice how it's larger, the glass. So he just found whatever glass he could use. Notice how the glass is wider than the solar collector box. It just happened to be.
And I had a bit of timber lying around. I put a heat sink, which is layers of this mesh.
Layers
which
of mesh.
collects the heat from the reflection of
Mhm.
the silver paper. As the air goes up through the shaft there,
Yeah,
what
okay.
happens
A hole at the bottom.
is that
That's a large hole
this
too.
heats
And
up.
it's got a screen over it
This
so you don't
heat
get bugs
sink
in there.
contains the heat. The air pushes through here.
It's a lot of surface
the
area
screen.
in order to catch that heat, that
And then
that light, and then generate the heat.
Into what looks like it was a fridge.
there was a fridge, upright
So it
fridge
was
or
a
freezer
fridge.
or whatever it was. Because when I was going to make it, I had to have an insulated
So you need.
box, and I thought, well,
Okay,
save me making it.
So he says that
Use
he
what's
needs an
around,
insulated
made
box.
it out of that.
I agree.
Great
Brought it in
idea.
and just cut the hole in, took out the ins, took out
You
the
could have it to
motor and
where it's
everything.
just
And what
a
happens,
piece of
as
wood.
that heats up,
So let's have
The-
a look
the-
there. Do you want to film inside there?
the
then
R
just so
value
you
of a
can
piece
see
of
it? So
wood
that's
could
what
be
you
your
were speaking about.
insulation.
Hot air comes in there.
yeah,
And
Okay, so he's not got another screen up there at the top so that
it's
he
46 degrees, which is
second
perfect for
deterrent
dehydrating.
of bugs getting
How-
into your food.
How did you get it to be 46 degrees though?
I don't know. It just happened.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah,
you
I
want
just
to
did-
have
I just
the
saw the
cabinet be
print
dark.
And
to start off,
All the areas that is
have a
the
control on the side where I can
refrigerator, I call
adjust
that the
flow of
cabinet.
air.
Okay.
And if I want to slow it down, I do that.
And so
if
he's
I want to
got
speed it up, I connect
some really good weather stripping.
the solar exhaust panel fan, and I just turn it on, and that will draw the air through quicker, and it'll
So
probably,
he's got a
as it goes
solar
through, it'll
fan,
do those quicker as well.
solar
And it'll heat them up and
panel
dehydrate.
fan
and then it
that'll
vents
help
out the
it
top through the
through the
So
system.
it vents out through this pipe here at the
Yeah.
back.
And
so why would you want to speed it up or slow it down?
we would
So that
rather
wouldn't change
just
the temperature. That would
have it
just
to
change
where you
Yeah,
don't
it
need
yeah.
that.
depends on what you
Moving
put in there.
through.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, I haven't had to worry about it because I got the vent fully
So
open.
he doesn't have a
and,
system where you
I've got
charge it
that
at the
set
end.
up, but
If
we
you
don't
were
seem
to
be
charge
able
it
to
at
have
the
stuff
end,
in there long enough
then
last,
you would
because
have
it's
some
eaten.
sort of
It gets eaten, right.
Yeah.
a puller
Long enough.
feature, a pulling
And
feature
then it's-
So why would you
there.
want to speed
Right here at the top. You'd have some sort of a pulling feature.
it up or slow it down? So that wouldn't change the temperature. That would just
No.
change how quickly
yeah, how
the
quickly
air.
we go in. It's a quiet taste.
I really love all your ingenuity as well, and we're fabulous to see.
Yeah, that is fun. Okay, let's check out this guy. This guy did a lot.
Today I'm going to show how I built the solar food dehydrator. First we'll start with making the base. The entire frame is made with 2 by 3 by 12 foot pieces,
speed.
which minimizes the scrap. The final base is 36 inches wide
so
by 48 inches deep.
I like it that this
Depending on
guy
the width of
has
glazing,
like
you may want to make yours slightly more narrow because the finished plywood is nailed together.
a very simple design, but I hate his
Next is
door.
to attach the back chimney wall to.
I think his door stinks. So this is a framed out wall kind of that he's going to lay diagonally, and then here's a framed out wall kind of that is, you know, the hole that has the the chimney that acts the wall that acts as a chimney. And so right down here at the bottom, it's going to have the capability of leaking out and rising. So the air is going to come in from, actually, it's going to come in from right here. So because he has, with his framing, he has this capped off. And so the air is going to rise up from below. He's going to have screening right there. And then he's going to paint expanded metal mesh, just like that one guy did with the spray paint, with a barbecue spray paint as well. And then so the glass surface will be up here. I'm not sure what this guy's using. I think it's plastic. He tells you to, whenever you drill through the plastic, to drill larger holes than what are actually needed because of the expansion of the plastic. Because it'll bow and warp and stuff, and you don't want it to crack. So the air rises up through here, and then it doesn't keep going here. Instead, it goes down. See how he's got double line right there and double line right here. So it falls down, or it's pushed. So the new air comes in and pushes the old hot air down. And once it's in this cabinet, it has to cool down because hotter air is coming in here and pushing that stuff down. And so everything's sealed really nice in this area. And so once the air goes, here's all the little trays or racks that are going to be placed here. So he's going to have wider racks at the bottom and narrow racks at the top. And so the air is going to pass through his meshed surface that's on the racks, the trays on the racks, and then it's going to fall down this far, be pushed down this far, and it's going to pick up moisture the entire time because it's dry, hot air that is being forced to sink. And so it'll pick up moisture quickly. And once it reaches this threshold, is what I call it, then its heat wants to push it up in relation to the outside environment's buoyancy, right? So it's going to want to rise up because of its temperature. So
The base. Just plywood holds the two sections together with a little glue and nails.
So
It may
that's
not
the
look pretty
bottom.
yet, but I usually prefer base. Just plywood holds the two sections
This is the
together with a
bottom
little glue and nails.
of that
It may
chimney wall.
not look pretty yet, but I usually prefer function over aesthetics. However, the top section, remaining section, of the apartment, solar collector between the base and the chimney wall with some nailed or decking screws.
So see how you're basically making like 3 walls? And so here's the top. There'll be a roof put on that. And then there will be wheels put over here. I think it's right here. And then the air is going to come up like this. I'll show you.
Set the rails under the.
The air will come up here.
To set the rails under the collector, I cheated just a little so I
See
can make sure
the
the drying
tray
racks
rack?
would be level with the racks attached to the chimney wall. Black pipe and found some old riding mower wheels. There's always a good reason to save old string on them. They'll force it against to open and close the
Okay,
door.
so this is
Not a
what I
perfect seal,
hate
so at some
about this this. I really do not like this. You seal your whole system, and then you have a door that's this big.
I may add a foam gasket around the door frame.
He might put a gasket around. He's probably going to have to. Now,
One last piece is to add
that's not that bad, you know? And it wedges. It wedges, nestles, you know, with wedging. That's pretty cool, though.
So that it helps to. The entire thing is painted with flat black exterior latex paint.
Flat.
It took about 2 quarts to put on 2 coats.
Exterior latex
Even the sides should be painted, so if the sun hits it, it'll
you
help to keep
really
it warm.
need to think about what you put inside of this, because
This next part is optional,
the
depending on the
off-gassing,
location. Here in the Northeast,
whenever
we try
the
to
sun
maximize
hits
our solar
it,
collection as much as possible. In sunnier areas, you should test your dehydrator to make sure it doesn't get too hot, whereas you start to cook your food instead of dehydrating it.
that's something to think
Take some
about.
expanded together. Line.
Okay, so I like how he put a piece of tape there, and then he just cut it. That
I
was
stacked
smart.
5 layers
5 layers.
over time with some spray paint. As the air passes up through the collector, it is forced through each of the solar sponges, and the heat that is absorbed into
He
the
thought
metal
he
is
didn't have
transferred into
enough,
the
so
air.
he needs to add some more.
You can see as I stack each layer in the sun, less light is able to get through to the bottom. Even though these are flat black, some light is painting it. Along the bottom opening, it's a good idea to add some push it
What
around
is
now.
that? Oh,
I attached a
third
swivel
wheel.
caster to it. It
sweet.
makes it far easier to push it around now.
That's cool. Okay, so
Along the bottom opening, it's a
you need to put wheels on yours or make it portable in some way so that you can put it inside during the winter or the heavy rainy season. Depending on how much you think that your wood is going to bow. You know, if you've got pieces of plywood, you don't want to keep them out during the winter, right? Stack snow up against the sides of it. You could have a larger overhang to your surfaces to protect the system, but you probably want to take it inside and outside. So you probably want to think about this. And then also, the thing is going to be huge. So your solution for wheels, needs to be thought
It's a
about.
good idea to add some screening to keep the bugs from getting up inside the solar collector, unless you like dehydrated grasshopper.
Unless you like dehydrated grasshopper. He's so funny. Okay, so this is where the air enters the system because he has it up, and like this is where the wheel is, right? So the ground's going to be like this up against the wheel. So that's why he's putting mesh right there to keep the insects out, and it's a different type of mesh. This is a cloth, plastic, fiberglass mesh or something like that.
To attach the sheet of acrylic, I drilled a bunch of holes through it and fastened it to the frame with some screws
All right, so it's a piece of acrylic.
and washers. You want to make sure the holes are extra large because the acrylic will expand and contract with the temperature changes. The best trick for drilling holes in acrylic is to run the drill backwards so that it will melt its way through the plastic. When screwing the acrylic down, don't over tighten it so it can move around a bit. I had to add one little extra piece along the box.
All right, he talks
Down
about
to about
measuring
3/4 inches.
dimensions. I'm not as
The last part of the
good
project
with
is to make some drying racks. I used some
building
strap lumber
things
and ripped it
based
down
on
to about
dimensions
3/4
that I
inch
can get
square.
them at the store. But that would be smart. All right, so this is what
And stapled it into place.
he's figured out.
Then I stretched some fiberglass screen over each rack and stapled it
Fiberglass.
into place.
He's gonna rest his food on fiberglass. It's much cheaper than food grade mesh, metal mesh. Much
Thicker
much
and
cheaper.
smoother. After I ran out of the fiberglass screen, I found some PET screening. It's a bit thicker and smoother, and I'm finding that the food doesn't stick to it as much. I wanted to get some stainless steel screen, but it was far outside of the budget.
Yep. So if you get the food grade metal mesh, then go ahead and figure out who you're going to split that purchase with, because you'll probably be able to make like 3 dehydrators with one large purchase.
After waiting a few
You
days
have
for
a
the
lot
paint
of
to fully
trays
cure,
to make.
It's finally time to give it a test drive and move it to its new home near the greenhouse. We happen to have some
So you could purchase my plans at permies.com and you could give them to a local person to build. That sounds like a really good idea. So you give work to local people, and then you also make it to where they learn something. They learn what it is that they could offer to other people. Y'all could figure out a situation like if you want nothing to do with his business going forward, great, but you could use your dehydrator as an example, show your friends where you got it from. That could make it to where it's a cheaper purchase for you, because the guy who's making your solar dehydrator is able to buy things in bulk, because some things are just going to have to be special order.
Fresh peaches on our tree and slice them up to 1/4-inch slices.
I talked about using plywood earlier. Some people will custom mill cedar, just all different types of wood to play with them. Somebody mentioned like they wanted to stain it to make it look nice, but oh no, of course not in the inside. It's like, why would you even stain it at all?
Test. So I loaded it with a bigger batch. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave comments about your solar food dehydrator.
His
Get to like this
trays
video,
don't
subscribe
slide
to our
very
channel,
easy,
and leave comments about your solar food
or
dehydrator.
do they? Something's catching. Something's catching. All right, let's go to the next one. Good show. Good show. Bravo. What is? I haven't.
Channel where we like to encourage people not to put all your eggs in one basket.
I haven't
Have
watched
some forms
the
of
rest of these,
redundancy, a backup to a backup.
so we're about to find out.
It's been about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I did a simple DIY solar food dehydrator build, and I gave a 1-year review on that build as well after my
Good.
first season.
That sounds awesome.
And I started noticing things that I thought maybe might improve what has already turned out to be an awesome solar dehydrator. I think I'm almost
Cool.
convinced it's the best one that I've seen so far.
All right.
Not to say that there's not better out there, but with this design and the use of the cabinet metal box that I chose and got
Okay.
lucky in choosing that,
Yeah.
I haven't seen one better. I don't.
All right.
It's
Let's go.
in the build. First thing we're going to do is on the collector.
I don't
here.
like it.
If you notice in the build, there was only one piece of. I mean, we're gonna or hokey on one.
No.
We're gonna eat pieces of metal, and we're gonna
Heck
set
no.
it right on top. It's gotta be so the cabinet and what I'm gonna sell. Starting now, it got this 315 a little bit,
Okay.
getting a little bit different reading.
So
158.
he's shooting it at the
159
outside.
inside the cabinet. Normal about the can eat it. Well, so temperatures, no very degree. So essentially for so the thermometer, which is at on the bottom, and just between two of these trays. Also, and even can start to make this upgrade or modification.
Okay, so this
So
all it does is
that
just
will
heat
be
down
our
here,
fourth,
and it rises up through
improvement
here.
or
That's it.
modification
He's
that gives me
looking at it
more
like it's a
ventilation in
smoker.
hopes that as I start reaching those higher temperatures, I can cool it down a little bit.
Instead, it's all about air movement. One of these guys said that. Where is it? I have to listen to this for. I'm sorry about that. Let's do that. Sorry about that commercial.
This is a completed project.
All right.
Except
Right
hot
here.
air is gathered here
What's he say?
and comes through the vent, goes up into the top of the
Come on.
dehydrator. And as it picks up moisture, it will sink. When it sinks, it goes down to the floor and underneath.
Here in a second, he's gonna say it.
Very
Right
nice
here.
draw
Right
on a
here.
hot day.
Right here.
And it's the airflow.
It's the airflow.
It has a very nice draw on a hot day. And it's the airflow.
It's the airflow.
And it has a very nice draw on a hot day. And it's the airflow.
All right. The reason why I did that so many times is because people don't understand that it's not about how awesome and hot you can make the damn thing. It's about how much, it's about the amount of air that you're able to get through the system that is drier than the food that it's passing. That's what it's about. It's not about making an oven. It's about putting drier air past your food at a good velocity, but it's about the numbers. So have your system flow and you'll have success. But you might have problems whenever you're in more moist environments with more moisture air, you know? So you just need, like I said, drier air passing through your food and focus on the velocity, the amount, the volume, the rate. Keep it coming. Okay. So I don't know what this person's going to say. This sort of thing.
Now this indirect solar dryer is a shy. So he had solar
You
dryer.
probably have a lot of
on the
views
drying box
and
as well,
a
but we
really
want to have an
cruddy
effect over here.
examination.
Okay, so here the sun rays are falling on the
All right,
glass
so
wall.
this is
From
one
the
of
lower side,
those
it is heat
that just has
insulated
the box
so
that
that
works
the
like a
heat may not
smoker,
get
right?
Even here. From lower
But
side, it
the
is
reason why I
having some
clicked on
metallic
this
supports
was
and
because of this
direct
image.
solar dryer. Have to develop something
I did not like this image at all.
which is not having this
Okay.
direct contact of the sunlight and the fruits.
Okay, so
And-
do they have a
But
downdraft?
in the active solar dryers, we are having a fan.
They don't
over here.
have
So this fan will be
a
forcing the air
downdraft
from
at
the
all. Okay, so her types of solar dehydrators, you're wrong. Okay? So active versus passive. So they're saying that the box on top is a passive, and I guess this one being heated is active. What, I don't know what this, okay, it's not worth looking at. I hope you, the creator of this, goes to my, what do I have? Please visit hermes.com/Davin. Yay, did it. This Hex Futures account that has to do with my cryptocurrency ventures. So, you know me as underneath Davin Hoyt, DAVINHOYT on YouTube. That's where all my solar dehydrator stuff is, plus all of these things that are in the background here. Let me show you. Did you hear me? Those are all my things that are on Permies Marketplace. So there's an oven. There are some shelves that are on wheels. There are 3 different types of solar dehydrators. And then there's a J tube that you would use with the oven. And that's all I've released thus far. It takes a while to wrap up these plans. Those shelves that are on wheels, it's made out of a bunch of 2x4s. That's like if you're living with an abundance of wood and you've got like a shop classroom environment sort of thing. It's somewhat of a situation where like someone said in passing, I wish I had plans of this and I wish I could point to it. And so I was just like, well, I'm going to do that here. The solar dehydrator, the Missoula one and the Wheaton ATC one. Those are the hottest items by far. And then if it is that you think that you can sell these plans, which is just hands-off PDFs, people pay with PayPal. If you think that you can sell them, please attempt to. You can just have a username over at permies.com, and then there at the permaculture market, the Permies market, digital marketplace is what they call it. Because you have a username, you can then have an affiliate code, and then you can copy and paste the affiliate code for my items anywhere. And if somebody clicks on it, then their computer is recognized. So if they go and buy anything from the digital market without resetting the cache features, the cookies and stuff in their web browser, then you get the sale. So not often do just people from the public find my stuff and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a seller of it." But here and there, I see on my account, somebody sold something for you. Thank you very much. But often it's the website that's collecting the affiliate fee. And then how it's split is almost 50-50. It's like 40-60 or something like that. So go check it out, please. See that you could be a person who instinctively knows permaculture community and where to place links and how to get people intrigued about products. I'm more of the person, the engineer, the architect, the creator, on the ground. But actually, I'm kind of in between things, right? I'm the person who's putting it into a computer to communicate it with other people. I actually do not have one of these in my backyard, but I helped make one of them, the Wheaton ATC. And then the way that I got involved in doing these things in the first place was because we were preparing to create a Wheaton ATC 1, and the Missoula 1 hadn't yet been talked about within a classroom that was building the other. So I needed to document everything about the Missoula 1 model in order for us to analyze how we were going to go forward with innovation of the design. And so the Wheaton ATC 1 is meant to be the second version and better boosted version of the Missoula 1 model. So someone needs to get some stats on that. I'm told that everything works really, really well. So that's really exciting. There's just so many things going on that it hasn't been a priority to sit there and build the two and test the two right next to each other. I've had people around the world purchase these plans and create these things, or a version just like it, how it fit them exactly, or what they had utilized. Like maybe the slope of the solar collector changes just a little bit, maybe the materials change a little bit, but the principle needs to stay the same, of course. But the underlying working function is the velocity. Keep the air going. It's the amount of air. It's the game of numbers. I wanted to touch on one more thing. I think it had to do with the digital market. If there's a salesman who wants to attempt to do this sort of thing, it wouldn't cost you anything. All there is an upside to it. So it would cost you your time. It would cost you to. It wouldn't cost you your reputation, but that's what you're using, right? That's what you're leveraging. I've got these things delivered. It's just by download, and we can see, after somebody purchases it and they download it, we can see them downloading it, so they can't deny getting a hold of the stuff. And once the construction drawings are given to these people, the information has been passed. So I think it's a cool thing. I think it's a cool way to spread information. I wish it is that I could sort of like password protect or secure these PDFs that are being sent out, because like right now somebody could buy plans and then they could pass it to their neighbor, and then that way they both share the plans, right? Instead of us collecting from each person. Maybe in the future there's some like crypto situation where I can tokenize the PDF, and anytime somebody wants to pull it up, they have to be in a certain environment, a crypto friendly environment, to see their rights to the plans. I don't know. I really don't know how to protect the plans, but thus far, I don't think that I've found. Yeah, I would know. I'm pretty sure I have not found anybody selling my plans. And then I wrap up little images inside of the plans to where there's a lot of stuff that you need to erase in order to utilize them as if they were your own. Just a second, let me find that. It's a friend of mine calling in the crypto community. No worries right now. So let's finish this review. And I please let others know about the digital market at Permies.com. It's a really cool thing. You can get to mine at Permies.com/Davin. People who want to change the world right now are having it to where there's not really much money behind them in the things that they're doing, like with permaculture and back to the land movement and homesteading and everything. So if somehow we can have it to where marketers and advertisers, those types of mindsets would somehow favor us and help us out and allow us to prosper, right? And spend more time on these things, because technically I can charge the guy down the street for architecture plans per hour more than I've gotten for all of these plans. For each individual one, they still haven't made back the amount of money that I would normally charge, per hour situation, the guy down the street or the business owner down the street. Okay. So this stuff is it's a calling. That you're supposed to be participating in this, you unquestionably help others, right? Okay. Let's go forward. And thanks for being here. I don't know what this guy's going to say.
Having a great day. This is
I am having a great day. Are you guys having a great day? I hope y'all are.
Video, which is actually a remake of a video I did 12 years ago.
12 years ago, he made
the box in position.
He wanted to use aluminum cans. Okay, so think about the off-gassing of this. And then after this, he's probably going to spray this stuff.
I can now lift away the main assembly and apply.
Oh, look at that. Do you really want your food going through that? Okay, so actually, this is where
once it's dry,
the air goes through the middle of the cans. Cans are supposed to give off their heat. Aluminum give off their heat through conduction.
Once it's dry, then it's time to apply the final layer of paint.
All right.
Now this is a matte black or
Yep.
flat black.
A matte
and
black.
That will be the best color you can paint it in order to collect the greatest amount.
See, he's like, I'm being innovative because I'm using matte black rather than glossy.
Finished painted product.
And it's like the people I roam with, they're thinking about
later.
using charcoal or yogurt,
build a very
you know,
basic A structure
in order to be food friendly.
That structure has to be just wide enough in order for the width of the collector to fit into it. So a little test fit there. And now
it's interesting where everybody is like, what diagonal do you choose?
The base strip of plywood structure.
You can set whatever diagonal you want. It's something to think about. You may want to change it, you know, in a few years or something. You might have a better idea about what angle.
To drill perspex, you must have
I am not certain on what angle. I've got it specified in the plan. The Missoula one and
it's very expensive.
The ATC one,
don't really want to be
the Wheaton ATC one and the Missoula one both have different angles to their solar collectors.
Cover removed from the perspex. I'm now
just slightly different.
Use the temperature for I can them into. So here's me with the way.
Okay, so what kind is this? It's that riser kind again. Yeah, it's. This is not. There's not a downdraft here. I'm sorry to waste your time, but we did talk about aluminum cans inside there. Okay, we talked about that one already. This lady said 7 beginner tips for dehydrating.
Hi folks, it's Darcy from purposefulpantry.com. Welcome to my channel.
Hey, thanks.
Today we're going to be talking about those beginner tips that I wish I'd known before I started dehydrating, and I want to share them with you.
Wonder if you know about my dehydrators.
Have somebody that you can talk to about dehydrating because nobody else in your life dehydrates. So I want to start off this video by inviting you to my Facebook group called Dehydrating Tips and Tricks.
Oh wow!
I'll leave a link in the description box down below.
Hey, that's cool.
If you're watching on your phone or your tablet, you may have to actually expand that to see.
If anybody's in that
down below in the description box
and
or in the comments,
they're willing to shill my plans, that would be awesome.
About dehydrating 24 hours a day, all the time. So if you have questions, you can always come there to ask.
My plans are the highest grade thing that I've seen of the documentation of what needs to happen to pass these ideas on to the next people.
Easier for you so that you don't get so disappointed or confused.
If it is that you're some sort of an educator, get in touch with me.
That I have is
I'll hook you up.
To take as long as it takes. Now, when you read directions from
if you're doing community gardens, get in touch with me. We can have it to where you use my plans for maybe a grant application. It's happened before. All of the Missoula community gardens have solar dehydrators, which is a design that I documented, and they're doing really well. Everybody wants to use them. There's only 1 or 2 per location, and
bananas or berries,
that's how it worked out. Was they contacted me?
Like that, they take 2 or 3 days
they
depending on
wanted to use my illustrations and
how you prepared them,
analyze the thing through my drawings,
where you have your
and they built something quite close to it.
Let's see what else. There could be any number of things that affect.
I think what they did was they vented out the back of the top wall instead of the top of the they vented out of the top back of the back wall rather than venting out of the top of the back wall.
So it's not not what I.
All right, what are we learning here? Who's the good person who like listed 1 blah blah blah, 2 blah blah blah? Nope, you don't have any of those. You don't have any. Okay, let's go.
Enjoying the warmth. And so you need to take you need to take some samples off your trays. let them come to room temperature. It may take 5 minutes, it may take 10. Just let it come to room temperature, then you test. If you're looking for dry and leathery, you should be able to put your hand across the top of it and not feel stickiness, not feel moisture. If it's meant to be crisp, then you should be able to break it easily, and there's no.
She's talking about testing your
the
product,
other thing to look
right?
for too is that for some things like vegetables and even with some fruits, you're looking for a plink and not a thud when you move it around. Like when you drop it on your tabletop, you're going to see this in a second. I'm going to show you. This is a thud.
That's hilarious.
It's
So
so important, and it's not talked about often enough.
when they're in a jar, she can tell the difference.
Have heard me talk about it a lot. I know those of you who are in my group or who read my blog know that I talk about conditioning all the time, because it's one thing that happens that people will put their things on the shelf, come back to it in 2 weeks and see mold and think dehydrating stinks, because if this was what happens, I just wasted all that time and money on this food.
Yeah. All right.
And what I
next
mean
one.
by that is, of course, a dehydrator,
Fancy
knife,
equipment is
and a
not
cutting
necessary.
board, and an airtight.
All right. Cool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's happening? Uh-oh. What is going on? Go away, Sticker Mule.
Trust me.
If I'll give Sticker Mule a free one. If you want to have a little pun with your friends over here, see this advertisement for Sticker Mule up in the corner? They say that you could try custom stickers for $9. That's right. So about $13 or $14 will get you 10 stickers that are custom sent to your house. 10 stickers. Think about who you could give that out to. So whatever sort of project, outreach, situation, fun, pun with your friends, all it takes is that little bit in order to just have that bit of pop and color and fun in your life. I think that's cool.
Another thing that I want to talk to you about that beginners often don't understand, or it confuses them once they've done something, is that you need to look at things as ingredients, and especially vegetables. Look at them as ingredients, not as a side dish on their own. All right, the last tip that I have.
Cool.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It's okay to make mistakes, totally. And that's what I have to say whenever it's like, hey, I've got these plans. Look at how comprehensive this stuff is on the left. But you can do it. You can take that on. Okay, this has been my review of other people's videos, other people's dehydrators. Notice how the two that I offer on the left there, the ones that I've been mentioning the names of over and over, notice how they are downdraft solar dehydrators. They have a solar collector and a cabinet. They are both separate, but the air flows through the solar collector where it's charged, and then drops down through the cabinet and then is released out of the back wall of the cabinet. That's how these things work. I've got other videos that you can peruse, right? Go to my other videos on this channel, please. And then also I will put those videos up in here somewhere, links to it. As I'm ending this right now, thank you so much for joining me. I just thought that I'd just go ahead and talk about other people's videos while I had ideas about them. Y'all take care. Peace.